Hey guys, what's up? This is Panzer Dragon, and today we'll be doing episode 8 of Mechanics. This series is all about showing you flash tricks if the champion has them, or just showing you some cool tips and tricks with them. And in this series, we'll be going through every champion in the game, as every champion has something unique about them and only they can do. In this video, we'll be featuring Kog'Maw, Karthus, Kassadin, Katarina, Kayle, Kha'Zix and Kog'Maw. We won't be doing Kalista because there already is a video solely on her, and there will be an annotation in the top left corner, so if you do want to learn about Kalista, I recommend you clicking it. Anyways, with all that being said, let's get started. Alright, so first up we're going to be talking about Kog'Maw. So she has a flash trick where she can cast her Q and then flash to surprise the enemy. As stated in previous videos, it's good for catching the enemy off guard, since they do see you casting it at a range where it shouldn't hit them. This works for any type of Q, so you can use your mantra Q or of course the basic Q. Next trick, if you aren't a Kog'Maw player like me and you're in a solo lane and you have to CS, did you know that using your mantra E does damage to minions and thus you can last hit with it if you need to? Even though it states in the tooltip that it does deal damage to people who are shielded by the mantra E, some people do tend to forget that it does that and only think of it as an AoE shield that gives movement speed and may not realize that you can actually use it to last hit under tower. So it was a pretty useful tip that I noticed when I was watching a Kog'Maw solo lane player named Nico44. Next tip, did you know as Karthus, when you're in your passive state, you cannot put wards down, but surprisingly you can actually put your trinket down. So if you're in your passive state and you do have that trinket ward, might as well use it since you might be running teleport and I guess maybe revive and you want to get back into that fight. Then of course you can do so, or of course if you have the far sight orb, then you can try and scout someone who is low to set up for your ultimate. Although, you know, it's not really a useful tip since if you're about to die, you might as well put the trinket before you die. But it is good to know if you forget to use your trinket. And next up is going to be one of my favorite tricks of Karthus is maxing E on ARAM. Starting with the Guardian Horn or Frostfang, your choice, and basically just suiciding. Trust me, it works. I've only lost once doing this trick since we were all AP, but trust me, it takes no skill to do this, you'll get a lot of kills, you'll have fun, and you'll probably win the game because Karthus' AoE damage is super strong, especially if he's maxing out that E first. Now if your team thinks you're trolling, well, prove them wrong. Show them who did the most damage at the end of the game, and I'm pretty sure they'll finally understand the power of Suicide Karthus. They just don't understand the power of Defile. Sure, I mean you have to think about, engaging a bit, but usually the engage is when you put up that wall and just suicide into an enemy team. Plus, when you are dead in your passive, this also counts towards your death timer. So if you do have a 20-second death timer, it's cut down to 12 seconds, and you're back up to do some more damage. Remember, feeding is winning, as Karthus in ARAM. The next trick is going to be extending Kassadin's R, and basically what you want to do is get the R range over half the wall so that you appear on the other side. It's kind of the same mechanic as Fiddlestick's R, so it's pretty similar and you can do this with multiple walls. They are of course decreasing the range with Kassadin's R on the next patch, so I might have to revise this in another video and show you some other cool walls. Next trick is going to be Katarina taking an award that was just placed using her Shunpo. So what you want to do is when you see an enemy put out a ward, you want to Shunpo to it and immediately auto attack it, because if you don't immediately auto attack it, you probably won't get the ward in time and only get off 2 hits. Next up we're going to be talking about Kayle, and I'm going to be giving you some advice since there's not really any cool tricks with her. So basically what I see in like bronze, silver, and gold is people using Kayle's ultimate when people are low and are about to die. That's all good to have the mindset for if you're Zillion or maybe say Yorick, but in this case you want to use your ultimate to nullify all the damage you can so that enemy's burst is wasted onto that target and now they have no more burst, and so that ultimate could be game changing if there was a team fight. Back in season 1 and 2 I always did the same thing. I used my ultimate when people were low and I needed to save them, but once I understood what spells were incoming in team fights from the enemy team, that's when I realized I can use my ultimate to nullify a lot of burst coming from the enemy team. Alright, so for the next tip is going to be with Kennen, and I'm not 100% sure about this in the laning phase. The only way I see it ideal is if you're maxing Q, But anyways, if you can get a charge on the enemy by say auto attack proc with your W, you can leave it on him for a while and you can auto attack the creeps to get your stacks back up. And once you do get that second stack, you can use your W and W passive to stun them to ensure that you hit your Q. But say if I were maxing out W, then of course you might want to use your W just for harass. I'm not 100% sure if this is efficient, or maybe you should activate your W just for some harass onto the enemy, but it is still interesting to know. Alright, so the next trick is going to be with Kha'Zix, and it's going to be similar to Karma's Q flash trick. So what you're going to do is use your W and then flash towards the enemy. As you can see, I start casting it before I flash, and then the void spikes was repositioned to where I flashed at. So if you do need to secure the slow onto somebody, then you can use this trick. Next trick, the same concept is applied to Kog'Maw's Q. This however does not work with his E. So again, cast your Q right before you flash, and then it should go towards the enemy. It's actually pretty funny because it works with Kha'Zix's W and Kog'Maw's Q, but it doesn't work with Kennen's Q for some reason. But anyways, I guess this would be useful if say you're AP Kog'Maw and you gotta finish off someone. Next tip, and honestly a pretty useful one. So I'm not sure about you guys, but what I did when I was in Kog'Maw's passive was I'd always try and right click around the enemy and try and follow him that way. What I didn't realize was I could just right click him once or use attack move onto him and I would follow him. It also follows people into the bush and it keeps following them, so it's pretty useful when you don't want to get juked. As you can see, the only command I issued was attack move onto Gangplank, and then I let go of the mouse to control Gangplank on another computer. Now I wouldn't rely on this trick 100% because sometimes it kind of bugs out and stops following the enemy, so what I recommend is keep spamming attack move onto the enemy when you see him or her. Hey guys, so thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did enjoy this video, check out other related videos up there. There's mechanics, myths, tricks, and tips, champions from A to H. And then there's mechanics, advanced tricks and tips with champions from I to J. And then there's mechanics with Callista. So check that out too, since Callista wasn't included in this video. And yeah, again, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did enjoy it, subscribe right there. Special thanks to my sponsors, What the Fast and Alpha Draft. And I will see you guys next time.
So fuck that little mouse, 'cause I'm an albatross.